Well, that was easier than I thought. Nobody died. In the end, everybody's feeling good. Heart's racing about 3 times faster than it should be. Feels like it's about to explode out of my chest. Yeah, I was expecting this to go way worse than it went. Killed the witch. Did our best to get everybody safe from River X. We tried our best. I think we did pretty well. Didn't see my family at all while I was running through the town. Hope Gus actually listened to me. Feel bad not telling them the truth until River X showed up. But what do you go to your family and say, "Hey, a demon's coming. Nice to see you after 7 years." So, yeah. But hey, it's dead now. Better to say sorry than ask permission to fight a demon in your town. River X wanted to turn Lorelei into a tasty fucking meal. Ripped her out of his mouth while also suplexing a demon. Sithabel showed up. Asuriel turned into an angel. Don't know what that's about. Beat the ever-living shit out of River X. Literally. I almost feel bad if they weren't a demon, how much hurt we put on them. Once he was weakened, couldn't fight anymore. Whatever the fuck his name is, I don't even bother remembering. Casting a spell, summoned somebody, and away with River X. Don't know what they're here for, but they're here now. We're about to find out. Hopefully that interaction doesn't get us killed after everything we've just accomplished.
I've been dangling on the edge of being myself for the last couple of days. Lots of things changed, and a lot of things came to a head, and our hands were forced, and I was less nice than I wanted to be. But we started saving a town, and it worked. Acrio saved me. We were heroes. I didn't think I'd ever could be a hero. A thing burst out of the ground, and we did everything we could, which apparently was more than enough. Things are never enough here. It feels like we're missing something. Things aren't supposed to be easy. We live in a world of hardness. No one died. I was prepared to lose someone because you always do. What does it mean that we didn't? What kind of target have we put on our backs now? Let's hope not a big one.
We did it. We actually did it, and everyone's alive, and they're okay too. Oh, no. The townspeople, there have to be so many injured under the houses, but Lorelei and Acrio and Cillian and just everyone, we're all fine. And I still remember Cillian too, so I can finish the book. And the witch and the demon, they're both gone. And perhaps to tell the tale, and I saw something during the battle, well, when it just started with River X. I was in Breylet, but I wasn't. It was like another kind of version, and there were pipes everywhere, and it was so strange. And there was a voice who spoke. It sounded like it was mocking River X. Like it knew him, and it got really angry all of a sudden, saying something wasn't possible, and then my collar cracked and wings came out of my back. I'm not sure where my mind's going with what that yet, but it felt good. It felt really good. It felt right. I'm really happy. I don't know what just happened after Reverax was destroyed, but I'm really happy right now.
You all are stood in the streets of Breylet as part of the town is burning. You still hear the town guard and volunteers, people with buckets just trying to slosh water onto anything that can, put out as many fires as possible, but the cinders and ash from what has burned just starts to drift back down on your heads. Off to the far northeast horizon, the Ashmouth volcano continues to spit fire into the sky. Too far away to affect you, but the omen of what that means is ever present in the back of your minds, because directly in front of you, as you've all spread out, as Reverax, this devilish worm on his way to ascending to a demon status, began to dissolve under the moonlight and almost the mana evaporating. Remus and several of the other members of the Veiled cult, including the Cathar, or possibly disguised Cathar, Volton, completed a teleportation circle, and Remus used magic to send a message to somewhere in the world. You have no idea how far it was sent, but the teleportation circle activated, and a handful of undead stepped through, followed by this woman in a purple dress and high boots with this golden, almost a headdress piece on the front of her head, which Asuriel, can I have you make a religion check?
Ooh.
Yes, Asuriel, somehow as you've lighted on the eve of one of these rooftops of the buildings, it's not on fire. As you look at this figure with purple energy flashing around her, her eyes glowing the same color as the undead around her. Same color, in fact, as the Vrock you had encountered earlier, though they didn't seem to be directly connected. But this headdress that she's wearing, somewhere in your lack of memory, you have the feeling that you recognize it as being angelic.
All right.
The 5 undead warriors of some kind around her. Lorelei, you've not seen anything like this. You've not even heard of ones like this. They're not skeletal. They're not rotting zombies. There's no... that smell you usually associate with undead doesn't even hit your nostrils. Maybe it's because there's so much smoke drifting through the streets. But they look dry, pale, and the flesh is very gaunt, pulled over their bones. Purple glow in their eyes, but it doesn't seem as though they're decomposed. And the way you're familiar with most undead kind of shambling and pointed in one direction and just mindlessly moving toward a singular goal, these instead turn and look about the streets, surveying as if they're consciously aware of what's around them, more than just a ghoul caller telling them, giving them a singular goal. These are more intelligent than you've ever witnessed. All of them wearing this forms of black iron armor in various styles of plate and half plate. Some of them more like skin leather with this black iron studding to it.
Hey, can I take some of that?
You can certainly try.
Yeah, it's time for another combat now. That's smart.
We're still healthy.
Seeing this like host of zombies, Lorelei has this look like she's just unlocked a new fear within herself. Like, no idea that these even existed. This is what I am now more scared of than anything in the world right now.
But she is veiled, her face covered by this incredibly finely knit, almost, form of chainmail in a veil across her face. It looks almost like mithril, though that's not a thing in this setting. It's the similar, like, pale metal links. And something from her, as she goes through this very quick spell, pulling arcane magic to her and utilizing the veil she is wearing. There's this invisible burst, but like a shock wave that rips across the street, and the remainders of Riverax turning back into their essential mana, which those of you in the know would be aware reform their identities in the hells beneath Innistrad, able to eventually make their way back to the surface, instead is eviscerated completely in this burst of, like, it feels like anti-magic. To those of you who are attuned to mana, it almost feels like a wound in this space, at least momentarily, where there's a dead space and there is no magic in that area. It's very disconcerting, especially to Asuriel, who is perhaps more mana than the rest of you.
I sort of step forward and I say, all right, great job. You fucking did it. Are we done now? And I look Remus in the eye.
It's hard to tell. He's still wearing this mask,
Yeah.
so
sure.
you kind of know where the slits of his eyes would be, but it's strange, the expressionless form as he just turns toward you, and with deference to this woman near him, half stepping around her to get to you, will nod and then gesture to Amrita nearby, you, Cillian, who ducked behind a building at the same time you were afraid Riverax might explode. You received your payment for services rendered. Well done.
Thank
He
you.
is gonna
We're
look
good at
down
what
at
we
the-
do.
She's gonna look down at the purple bag and open it.
Still attached to the handle of your hunting knife. You pull the strings. Initially, you don't see anything other than like a glitter. There's like a twinkle in the bottom of the bag, so you kind of have to like tip it sideways, and you find your palm full of 5 small diamonds.
Is it enough?
She's gonna just close it back and just put it at her side. Like, there's still flame going in the eyes, but she just like stares at Remus. This will change nothing.
He wouldn't have time to respond before you see Zach. His Geist brother has disappeared, but he steps forward, not entirely aware of the situation, and begins to try to thank Remus and this woman for, helping, almost being like, a bit late, but thank you for showing up right at the... But 2 of these undead just close ranks right in front of him before he can approach any further. Steps back, stunned. You can see he's bleeding worse than the rest of you, and he grabs one of his wounds and goes for a weapon, not sure how to react to all of this.
Big player, Zach. Just be careful.
I don't know if this is a game I want to be in. And he just takes another step back.
Probably not.
Sort of glossed over. She almost doesn't realize what she's doing. Lorelei staggers forward a bit, and her hand moves to the file.
Acrio sets a hand down on Lorelei's back, just like right where her shoulder is. It ain't worth it. Not right now. Then we'll find her again.
Speak.
Peels back.
Can I have you all make a perception check, please?
one of the only
Hey.
times Cillian actually is paying attention. I
Cyril's
rolled
been
wisdom
staring
instead of perception.
really intently at this woman, like specifically the veil.
So Asuriel, yeah, as you're focused, this woman doesn't say anything, but the firelight of the city burning around you is enough to see not the full visage of her face, but you can kind of make out an outline as there's just a small smirk, and you can see on her exposed shoulders and up her neck there's this very fine, almost no bigger than a thread, glow of purple in various patterns that just shimmers briefly before it just returns to the look of regular skin. And you hear, and Amrita would also hear this, though she hadn't noticed this on the Veiled, both of you hear just a faint murmur from Remus behind his mask, and he says, 2 down, we're halfway there. And just as Civabella has regained her composure from this burst of anti-mana and the street is beginning to settle again, she starts to step forward, and instantly the Veiled casts a teleportation spell on this circle, and you can see the part of space over it just open up in like this ring surrounded by this purple energy that she has used to cast it. As she and Remus step inside, Sigris flies inside it, and Voltan, knowing that there's only so many who can go through in time, dismounts his horse, looking out at all of you. His face is also covered in this mask, so you can't really understand the expression, but there's a pause before he steps through, and then the remainder of these undead follow. And you are
No,
all
we're
left.
not done.
They said something about 1 down, 2 more. I don't know what that means, but
2
Acrio.
down.
Acrio
Oh.
doesn't care what people are saying. He just runs for helping putting out the buildings.
Cillian runs towards Asuriel and sort of swings her around. I'm a little angel! And give her a nookie.
Lorelei
She
approaches Asuriel as well, but a little more sheepish.
looked like she was about to follow Acrio and try and help before being like,
Yeah, Amrita will follow Acrio at that point, just not wanting to deal with this interaction.
The wings coming out of Asuriel's back as you've gotten closer, it seems like they're not corporeal, though they are feathered like an angel's. They are like a pure golden light, and as she is bombarded by all of you, they actually flicker, and in a burst of like, not sparks exactly, but shimmering stars, like they just and vanish.
Ah, shit, fuck. Did I do that? I'm sorry.
huh? What? Everything's fine. I can get them back, I'm pretty sure.
How?
The other angel in this cross section of the street puts the great sword that she has on her back. You see her pained as she does it, her eyes glowing as they all do. Her head shifts after Acrio as he runs, but she knows his intention, and she approaches the small group of you. Now that you can see her up close when it's not in the melee of combat, you can see that she is easily 8 feet tall, if not more so. Angels are larger than humans by a good little bit, and she towers over this group as she reaches out a hand to Asuriel. Who are you?
Reach out and take it, because I think it's like a handshake. I'm Asuriel.
As you say that, she clutches your hand and very slowly pulls you closer to herself and puts her other arm around you.
Oh, okay. And she'll hug her back. Are you
What
okay?
happened to you?
I don't know.
She kind of pulls back to look at you. Asuriel, we have missed you. We thought you did.
You knew me?
Of course. But those eyes, so human. What's happened?
I don't know. I don't remember anything. I just remember Acrio finding me.
When?
It's been a few weeks now.
You have been gone so much longer than that.
How long?
Years. By the human standards.
I don't know what happened to me. Everything's a blank.
This is strange.
I'm really glad you're here, though. It's just really confusing for a second.
For us all.
What?
There is work to do.
Yes,
And so what I'm going to have is I'm going to roll a die for a percentage of the town that can be saved, and you guys can add as many hero points as you would like to that before the roll. So you have to decide before you even know how many of these you want to use.
Oh, good fucking criminy.
I will just use all of mine.
Yeah, let's go. I'll put in 6.
I have
Okay.
4. I have 4. I'm adding 4.
I have 4. I'm adding 2.
Okay.
I have 3. I'll just add all 3.
Okay, so that's 15, and then how many from Acrio?
I said all of them.
Yeah, but I don't know how many that is.
Oh, that's at least 11. No, I have 5.
I was about to say, bro.
10, 11, 12, 15. So, okay, 5. So that would be a total of 20. All right, here we go.
We roll 100, all those hero points wasted.
Unfortunately, that's not even possible. Although you may get over 100 total, but we'll see.
Oh.
A lot of ones.
A lot of ones.
Yeah.
But that's still 88%, if that's what that is. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's decent.
Oh.
Only losing 20% of the town. Except it's the 20%.
Not even 20, it's 12%.
Oh, hey, that's pretty good.
So yeah, over the course of this night, assisting the guards, you can see people who are huddled around these angelic symbols, the glyphs that Lorelei and Acrio had placed around town, all start to kind of disperse, knowing they can't just stay there forever. The people at the church remain, but you can help with the bucket lines in any other way possible that you would choose to assist. And yes, ultimately, while there was a lot of superficial damage, 88% of Breylet remains intact, which is most of people's homes. There are a few businesses that are partially destroyed, homes that are burned a bit, but able to be extinguished without too much issue. And during this time, Cillian, what would he be doing for context?
I think first priority, because this is just what he's dealt with his entire life, is if people have died on the most unhallowing ground possible, like black mana everywhere, devil ascending, I'm sure they won't be like going into the eternal sleep or whatever it's called.
Blessed sleep, yeah.
Blessed sleep, thank you. That easily. So first priority is like malevolent spirits, things that get stuck behind, stuff like that.
And there would be. Not everyone survived this encounter despite best efforts. But as you're doing that and trying to sense out these newly formed geists, confused about what's even going on, something catches your eye, just a glint of light, what could have been an ember falling from the sky, but just like this little twinkle as something drifts not far from you. You look to the ground, and it's half-burned Taroka card.
Is it face down or face up?
Face down.
Uh-oh, stinky.
I, with my foot, very carefully turn it over.
The image on the other side is a hand with strings and a puppet, the marionette card, symbolizing the presence of a spy or an encounter with a mere puppet or an underling.
Yeah, I think I pick it up. He doubts. He's like, well, maybe this is something I shouldn't be dealing with. But in that same thought, he's very superstitious, and just leaving this lie is not a good sign. So I pick it up and put it in the same place I've been keeping another card apart from my deck, which is the card I've been pulling. I can't remember what it's called, but
the broken one, I believe.
Yeah, the broken one. Thank you. And I sort of, I definitely keep it to myself. This ain't something I'm talking about.
What's the rest of the party up to for the time it takes to get the town kind of back in order?
Like helping Burns, anyone that's like injured, sick, just kind
There's a
of.
lot of smoke inhalation.
Yeah.
A lot of people coughing, more so than they had been.
Smoking kills. I've been smoking for 25 years. This ain't shit.
Says a 27-year-old woman.
Says a 15-year-old.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I've been smoking since I was conceived.
Is the pharmacy okay? Because Amrita would check on the pharmacy being one of the main businesses to see if that was all right or not, or destroyed.
Roll percentile, get under an 88.
Oh, it's a good system. Like
Please. I don't want to look at
90.
it.
Hey, you know those small businesses?
Happy birthday.
Aren't you glad? You know how rare it is?
It's the very first one we saw getting fucking destroyed.
Yeah, what is Amrita's reaction to seeking out this building? You're not entirely familiar with the layout of Breylet, especially with half of it obscured by smoke and parts of it burned, but coming upon this building that not just charred and burned, but like it looks like that was one of the places Riverax had burrowed out of the ground, and it's just been disemboweled as a building.
I think, and at some point she dispels the crimson rite and covers up the third eye and everything, but she goes over to the building and just tries to see if it looks like that man had gotten out, just to see if there was a body that might have been singed or not. And it kind of just briefly takes her mind somewhere else.
You don't even have to make an investigation check, because as soon as you approach, stepping over some of the broken glass and vials, there's a strange smell in the air, because the burning is partially herbs, but then also harsh chemicals that have been set ablaze. But this smoldering ruin, you can just see a hand underneath some of the charred boards sticking out from it, and then halfway across the building, the foot and other parts of him.
Her walking through a burning town, I think he would keep an eye on her. So he's just standing sort of outside of the wreckage while she's inside.
Yeah, I think she would look down, just try to move the boards and gather the pieces wordlessly and everything, but there's a disturbance there for her, and she's doing it.
Cillian says nothing and just helps her. Locking eyes for a second. Just being there instead of forcing himself in somewhere for once.
While Acrio's kind of making his rounds, he's doing loops of helping as both a cleric and just muscle throwing buckets of water as fast as possible on houses. So every time he kind of does the loop back to the church to help, he stops by Lorelei, who's probably just cranking out, helping people. And it's just a touch on the shoulder and an appreciation for helping his hometown. And then he, without interrupting, back to work.
Can I have you roll a percentile as you move past the hill leading up to your family's brewery?
Better not. Better not.
Oh my god.
It's difficult to see through
It's great.
the fog and the smoke. And at first, you see the hill and it almost looks barren. You see that stone wall that you had helped marginally build as a younger child. But then the wind catches some of the smoke and you see the outlines of the buildings. They're still blackened just due to the night. But as you kind of like squint through the slits in your helmet, it looks as though they have been untouched.
Yeah, Acrio's just standing there with a bucket while everybody's working around him for a moment while he looks up at the house. Relieved sigh. Back to work. He'll talk to his family later. Occasionally seeing Gus with burning eyes towards him.
You actually do not see Gus. You see your father, Amric, in the lines, just, at the edge of the river that flows around the side of Breylet, just taking as many, barrels and buckets that come to him and passing them on to people as he fills them with water. You can see he's looking exhausted, just pulling this much, weight of water out of the stream. And yeah, his hair is soaked and there's just smudges of ash on his face. But as he catches sight of you and you see him outside the town, there's just a brief nod.
Sobbing inside the helmet.
Cithabella does double duty as she also takes pails in both hands, flies up and tries to douse buildings, trees, save as much of the living wood as possible in town, while also utilizing what healing abilities she has for those who are the most grievously injured.
Asuriel will help look for people who might still be trapped under the debris of their houses.
And there would be. Make an investigation check. Yeah, I'm going to say, you find maybe a handful throughout the town. You're fairly confident that it's a lot of buildings to go through, but luckily the ones that are actually collapsed or burning are just partially. So the ones that are the worst you can search through, and you're fairly confident that nobody who could have made it out did not. Like, you were able to get to them before they expired.
Is Asuriel like those dogs that they the firefighters pretend to get caught so that the dog can find them and be happy? Because the dogs were getting depression.
You just see a little Labrador nose poking through.
Leave snorkeling all over
Old
the place.
Dalmatian.
Yeah. Snorkeling.
When I get a moment of reprieve from the medical stuff, I doubt it's probably very long, but just trading out, swapping places briefly, I want to go and check where the River X runes had been on my arm. And I just kind of want to see what those look like now.
You had channeled a guiding bolt down your arm, the magic of the angels, and witnessed in that moment, though you didn't have enough time really to process it, that what looked like embers and coals almost lined up in these demonic glyphs on your arm head faded, and now as you're seeing it, there are scars, but they are so fine and pale that if you weren't looking for them, you wouldn't even notice. But there is still a trace.
Always is.
Scared about. And she just rolls sleeve down, back inside.
99% dead, still got that 1%.
Guiding bolt is 99.9% effective.
Yeah, against demon germs.
By the time the sun is rising, the town is coming back alive as much as it can. People are starting to exit the Graph and the churchyard. Those who had fled the city as far as they could, some of them seeing now that it's not actively burning anymore in the morning light, start to make their way back, like sleep deprived and looking miserable as they cross the bridge over the creek back into what was supposed to have been the walls of safety.
Oh, did Gus run? Because Gus said he wanted to get people out of the city.
No, that's what you had initially told him to do, and he was like, that's not going to work.
Oh.
He was like, it's just going to make a choke point at the gates and people will be stampeding each other. So he did not do that. However,
well,
you haven't seen
dead.
him in some time.
With buildings no longer burning, I will go looking for Mupro.
Searching where?
First, our house, and then he has a house of his own, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't really know where that is.
Yeah, I'll ask.
However, you're able to catch up, with your father, who's basically exhausted, just leans against a building as your mother's approaching, and you see him pull out this black stone and just start to carve out the bowl of his pipe. Ironic. I know, but I need to smoke.
Acrio's armor, just like covered head to toe in the black soot, pulls it off where the visor is just like blackened, and then it's kind of clean everywhere else but drenched in sweat. Yeah. Takes a knee, like it's like all the weight that he's carrying just kind of drops as he falls to a knee, leans on his hammer.
And Nissa comes up behind you and puts a hand on your shoulder, leans down, and then hugs you around the neck. Good job, Greenhorn.
Did my best.
Looks like you finally found something you're good at.
Yeah, I got a whole lot of people helping me too. A lot of good people. Gus didn't seem too happy with me, but I haven't seen him around.
Been back and forth, running the lengthways of this town. Haven't seen him for a minute, though.
Got it. Question out of character. Did Sithabella just fucking cleave the heads off of those remaining veiled members that were left behind when the teleport happened?
So
there were
everyone who was clustered around stepped through the portal, with the exception of Voltan's horse, because that would have been too many creatures to go through. Okay. But you do know there were several members who showed up with Remus, one of them Vistani looking, although you don't know if that was a disguise or not, and several other figures you had seen during the combat with masks on that you have not caught sight of since.
Okay. I guess he'll turn up when he does. Do you know where his house is?
They do, naturally, and give directions.
Just want to go thank him for getting people around. Guess it's his job, but yeah. Thanks. Sounds very painful as it comes out as he looks at his dad.
What?
You raised me as tough as nails, old man. Wouldn't be here if I wasn't tough.
We don't know any other way. It's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know why men like us always got to do things backward. Maybe it's the curse of second sons. Nothing could ever be done right the first time, or else we'd have been born first, right? And you see him kind of just like reach out a hand.
Yeah, I know. Gauntleted still, just shake his father's hand and nod.
It's firm, but even still, you can tell he's weakened by the night's events.
Yeah, I'm sure between sickness and an entire night of hauling ass, everybody's a little more exhausted than they should be. Yeah, he'll smile, give his mother a hug after the handshake, and then take off down the road to the brother's house to see if he's a fucking heretic.
You do not find him. However, Asuriel, as you are making another pass over the center of town, with these golden light wings,
when she flies, she feels really happy. It's like she's not really happy right now because there's like horrible stuff going on, the fires and the rush. But when she flies, she's happy. There's almost a smile on her face.
The morning is dim as always in Stensia, and the smoke rising from what buildings are still smoldering obscures some of your vision. But outside the walls, you see a figure stepping out of a carriage a little ways off from the town. Dirty and disheveled. It's very hard to make out because it's far away, but you see this dark red half cape over a shoulder, and the carriage is unmistakable, as it is a deep crimson painted entirely down to the wheels, with only these black curtains with 6 pairs of black horses and one at the lead, as there's no driver visible, but as soon as the figure steps out, the carriage almost instinctually begins to move down the road at an incredibly fast pace.
What was she there when Cillian saw that carriage right outside the walls of Corsiva?
She was not.
Oh, that was just Acrio and no, I think Acrio and Amrita was somewhere else. No, they were
Acrio and Amrita for sure had seen it. Can't
yeah,
recall if
okay.
Cillian had, but yeah, I know it was mentioned to the rest of the party.
Which you recognize it from the description. I'm gonna do a quick intelligence check, see if she can connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
She does not. It's like, it's weird carriage. I don't have a good feeling about that. She's gonna look around for one of the other party members, or even Cithabella.
Roll a d6.
Oh God, I swear if it's Amrita, please don't.
It is Amrita that you catch sight of first. Perhaps because she's tallest and, stands out even in a crowd of anyone else. Not long after you spot Cillian right behind her, or nearby.
Does Amrita still look like she's like grieving, or?
She's carrying a bag and with a bundle of something, heading north.
Was the carriage south or north?
Carriage would have been like to the east of the town.
All right. She'll land in front of Amrita. There was a weird carriage that dropped off someone to the east. I don't know. It gave me a bad feeling. It had like horses, and there were 6 of them, and all black, and the carriage was red. And there's a guy with a cape that came out of it. It moved.
We've
really
seen
fast.
that before. Yeah, it like rushed past Corsiva. It seemed in a hurry. Seemed ominous.
Well, it's here now. There's someone who came out of it.
That can be good news.
Probably not.
Is the carriage still here then?
No, it left right after he got out.
Did you see who stepped out? What did they look like?
They had a red cape over their shoulder. Like, what do you say? Black hair, I think.
No, he's just dirty and soot covered.
Okay. And it's just
blackened, but not too hard to make out specific details like that from the distance you were. But the red was pretty bright.
Yeah, and Rita's just gonna she backs just sees her out of nowhere for a moment, holding on to the bag, and I think she'll just try to motion to Cillian's here, why don't you take this? I can just go check it out.
Be careful. We thought vampire last time.
Yeah,
I'm not
whatever.
I'm not sure we can take a lot now.
I'll go with you.
No. I'll go by myself. And she just quickly starts to walk away.
Rita, no. And she's gonna keep walking after her.
Cillian is just standing with a body in his hands.
Yeah, pieces of a body in a bag.
Yeah, in a bag.
Yeah, picked up and on their way to the graph, but...
Yeah, I was going there anyway, so I'll head off. And as Amrita is leaving, I want someone other than Reagan to deliver a message and just say, before the fight, you wanted to say something and I brushed you off. I shouldn't have, and that's all. I go play Santa with a bag full of bodies.
Body parts.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and Rita's just she's gonna try and just sprint and just head in that direction.
She's just gonna pop the wings out and fly after her.
Yeah, is there a way she can try and lose Asuriel though?
Make a stealth check, but at disadvantage because you're sprinting as fast as possible. What's Asuriel's passive perception?
It is 14.
So yeah, you do lose sight of her. However, you also know exactly where she's theoretically going, so you can just fly over the walls of the city and either perch there or go and try to check out this figure who's making his way toward the town.
Yeah, she'll go to the walls of the city. So he is approaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he look injured?
There's maybe a bit of a limp, but as he's gotten closer, you can see the blonde hair and the little thin mustache, bit of a goatee, and the saber at his side. It is Augustus Revito as he's walking back toward the city.
Oh yeah, when she recognizes him, she's just oh, I'm going. It's okay, what happened to him?
I'm gonna murder my brother. Then I'm gonna murder Lorelei just for the fun of it. Sorry.
So wait, what's Asuriel doing?
The moment she sees it's Gus, she's just gonna yeet off the wall and go to him.
Then yeah, Amrita, as you had gotten to the gates and the bridge across the river and started to pick out this figure, your eyes are still kind of watery from the amount of smoke and ash you've got in them, and you can't rely on that third eye without exposing it to everyone else. You've covered that up, but you do recognize him as well after a moment of squinting, and then you see Asuriel light down from the walls into his direction.
She'll slow her pace, but still continue that direction, but try to stay hidden. But
Can I have
still,
both of you make an
overly
insight check? Yeah, from your
Eyes are too
distance,
watery, man.
Amrita. Yeah, it's not difficult to make out anything other than the fact that he's just approaching. What would Asuriel say?
It's just, Gus, where have you been? Why did you come out of a weird carriage?
You see him continue walking forward, his eyes just fixed on the town as he walks past you slowly but methodically without even acknowledging you. And then after a moment, what?
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. Those weren't there before, were they? I think I don't remember those.
No, that's pretty new. Ed, wait, why did you come out of that carriage? I thought you were in the town.
What are you talking about with the town? We got town's on fire. Gotta do something about it. How is everyone?
Most of the fires are out, and we saved everyone we could, but there's a bit to rebuild.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. And he just starts walking back into Breylet.
Let's get you to the church. Maybe Lorelei should take a look at you.
No, I need to find Tessa. I need to find my daughter. Where's everyone?
They're probably all at the church.
All right, well, that's where we're going.
All right. Follow after him on foot.
Lorelei, can I have you roll a percentile?
Percent of my brain that's still intact. Oh god.
28%.
Yes.
Shit.
So, as you're making the rounds, you've done as much as you can. I don't know how much of your magic you would expend to heal half-burned bodies, that sort of thing, people who are clinging to life. But moving through the streets, you see Hannibal Ward sitting on the edge of a fence, just with his head in his hands.
Just gonna walk over to him, not saying anything to begin with, but just stop in front of him.
Oh, Lorelei, you got any idea what even happened?
More idea than I wish I did.
Tell me I was wrong. Tell me the ash mouth. I was just seeing things right there. Was just embers in my eyes.
No, I saw it too.
Can't catch a break, can we? Well, cracks his back, cracks his knuckles. I guess there's work to do. People are going to be rebuilding. I got to get on some nails.
Business will be booming for you.
Not the kind I ever would have wanted.
Make the best of a bad situation, I guess.
If you all need anything, just to come by, I can put in a special order.
Of course. How's your family? Well accounted for?
Present and accounted for. Mama got a good bit of smoke, but she's used to that, unfortunately.
Oh, God. If she takes a turn for the worse, come find me. I'll see what I can
I'll do that. I appreciate you.
No problem. And she'll just kind of whip Swan away, sort of floating sort of emptily through the street. She doesn't really know what it is to do with herself right now. But yeah, I don't.
What does Amrita do after she sees Gus and Asuriel fast on his heels, just wandering back into the city with a level of purpose now? Quickened his pace from the time he was just approaching slowly.
Is there any weird senses that she can smell when the both of them walk by after being around that carriage at all that she would catch? No?
There would not, unfortunately.
I think she'll just take a moment, watch as they go in. Like she almost wants to get out and say something, but she doesn't, thinking about everything that had happened. And I guess she'll just go back to the town eventually and just focus on other stuff, but just try to keep her distance and be alone for a while until she can actually not have to deal with any of this stuff.
Sure.
Or try to figure out where Acrio is. Like if she bumps into him, just really address that. Bodies things in the river.
Mm-hmm. Before you have a chance to do that, though, as you're taking a breath in part of the town that's not quite as affected, Riverax hadn't had a chance to spit his flames or tear up the ground in this area. You find yourself at the inn where you had stayed the night before, and across the street, the Dog and Duck Tavern, you can see there's a light flickering in the window, and it seems to be just a small candle on one of the tables where there's a singular figure seated.
Can she see that figure?
If you approach a bit and get a better angle, you can see this pale man, seems to be armored in half-plate at least, this long sword at his side, sipping out of a mug. What catches your eye, perhaps first of all, is a wolf pelt that is over his shoulders, with the head still included. It's almost looks like a wolf resting across him. Dark hair and pale skin, as I had said, but the figure you recognize after getting a good look from Isabella's manner, the humanoid glamour of Sir Lane.
That's what I was fucking worried about.
What's up, my boy?
She is going to enter and try and find him, to approach him.
I mean, it's pretty easy to see the dog and duck is empty, unburned, and there's just this singular individual sitting at one of the tables in the middle of the pub floor with a candle on the table and a mug in front of him. He doesn't really seem to overly react to your entrance, just cocks his head and smirks somewhat, raises his mug, and you can smell the beer, the alcohol, but at the same time as he takes a sip and then kind of licks his upper lip, there was something red on it.
Best cocktail.
It's been a while. What are you doing here? I'm curious.
Amrita Mablethorne. It has been some time. I'd come here looking for you and your fellows. I'm here to collect on my favor from the one called Repellum. I hope he survived the night.
Well, unfortunately for you, he is not with me. Hasn't been for quite some time.
But you know where he is, yes?
I recall where he said he was going, if that is what you mean.
Any bit of information will help me.
If I give you information, will you give me information in return?
That would be a fair exchange. My
Out of
honor would
character,
demand it. Please.
I will say this, he did try to contact me recently. I was in Silburn then. Tried to contact him back, but requires something beyond my capabilities. He's traveling with another fellow. But before I give you a name, I'm curious. Have you seen a carriage lately? Or know a carriage that is dark? And she'll describe the entire look of it. I'm just curious since I've seen it in Corsiva before, and then now it seems to have briefly appeared on the outskirts of this town.
Make an insight check.
Please, 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 or I'll cry. I'm gonna go cry. Oh.
He purses his lips for a moment and then licks them briefly. You can see his teeth, which look completely human. There's no fangs. With his glamour, his eyes look deep brown, but not infected by the vampirism. As he's staring back at you almost unblinkingly. The Crimson Coach. I am familiar. Why are you?
I already told you. I've seen it.
Pray you do not again. The Crimson Coach is a phantom in Stenzia, not to be trifled with. The occupant. The less you know is the better. But I will say he's the Chamberlain for House Markov.
What happens if I saw or someone sees a person come out of that carriage?
A person?
Do they turn people on a whim?
The Markovs, no. They're highly selective. This was outside Kosovo, you said. That's too close to our territory.
Well, it appears that they have recently appeared in this territory now as well.
He instantly, puts a hand on his sword and leans forward. When?
Not but 10 minutes ago.
I should go. But I won't. Grabs his mug again, swirls it a bit, pauses. Now, repel him. Where is he?
He's traveling with a man named Wolfgang Vandermeer. I believe Wolfgang is from a place. She'll take out a piece of paper and just rip it and put the symbol of the sensorium that she remembers from seeing in Silburn.
He leans forward. What does this mean?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it's just the symbol that he leaves. You might be able to find Repellum that way. As I said, that's really all I know other than that, where he's going.
Puts his finger down on the paper and slides it across the table toward him. It's a start. What happened here? I wasn't expecting so much fire.
Guess you could say it was like hell rained down on the place. In short, devils, things of that nature. Monsters, cults. No vampires, though, surprisingly.
Until the end, it seems. What were the Markovs doing here? I can only guess. I need to speak with you and the rest of whoever you're with now.
They'll likely be at the church, but they'll be a bit preoccupied still.
It can wait till nightfall.
Fine. I will see if I can convince.
Put on your most convincing face. Stands up and downs the last of his tankard with only a few gulps. Wipes his mouth. Not the church. Outside of town. Dusk. And you might want to do something about the barkeep. And he will turn and stride out into the streets of Breylet.
What did he do to the barkeep?
Yeah.
Amrita can only take a guess.
He just got a drink from him. That's all.
Yeah.
Really cool.
But yeah, I think she'll sit there for a while, just staring at that candle before eventually going to the church, but probably being the last one to go there.
What's Zach been up to during the night? Attempting to salvage the town as best as possible. There were people looking for bodies. There was bucket lines to draw water from the creek and slosh the buildings and unset everything on fire.
He's probably like one of the few or one of the people that are like helping set everything on fire and all that stuff, making sure
Yeah.
to like salvage anything.
At this point, it's morning. The sun's starting to rise. Most of the fires have been extinguished. There's just a lot of smoldering smoke left over. People are exhausted from the amount of work they had to put in, and the rest of you obviously as well, given the wounds that you suffered.
Mechanically exhausted?
No, not mechanically, no, just physically.
Does Amrita see Zach at any point in time as she's walking to the church?
It's up to him. What would he be doing toward the end of his work?
Probably trying to like find everybody else. I guess we would like probably bump into each other. Oh, hey. Sorry, didn't see you there.
Zach, was it?
Zachary Francis Morgan.
Amrita Mablethorne. I gotta say, that was some guts. And she holds out a hand, the right hand.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of guts in there, and he'll shake your hand with both hands. Yeah, never been swallowed by a giant devil worm before, but it was an experience.
Why did you help?
Well, York convinced me that you guys were good people, and from what I've seen from, how you guys are together and you two angels appearing out of nowhere, it seems like he was right. So, of course I wanted to help you guys. We wanted to help you guys. Sorry, I can't excuse York. He helped, of course. And you see York just pop out of his back again, all grotesque-like without any noise, but he pops out.
Rita thinks of dead people killing costumes, like, thank goodness she's never seen any of them that look like that, probably. Don't underestimate my thanks for anything more than that, though. I'm heading to the church. That's probably where the rest of them are, since you seem to be moving about like a beetle in the streets.
I'll join you guys. I think I'm done here. Me and York really busted our backs here, especially after that fight. That gives me a chance to thank that angel too, or one of the angels.
Yes. Begins to just walk in silence.
And it was just like shadow behind you.
Yeah, you can make it to the church. There's still a fair amount of people clustered up there. A lot of people who have, once the immediate danger has passed, clustered up with their families and kind of just fallen asleep on the church grounds, in the pews, even people sleeping in the graff. But there's a lot more who are up and milling about. You can catch rumors flying every direction about what happened, what was it, why it was here, why Breylet, why the Ashmouth. There's more confusion and questions than there are answers. But the angel who had appeared not in human form at first is amongst them, Cithibella. Now that you are not in, like I said, the melee, you can see her a little more clearly. Like most angels, she is larger than humans, at least 8 feet tall, curly, wavy, dark golden hair. great sword that would be almost impossible for a human to even carry on her back, with her wings folded behind her as she's trying to comfort those around her. Her eyes just glow with the white and golden mana from inside her without any like actual physical. It's almost like if the eyes are the window to the soul, her eyes are open to pure light.
Zach he'll wait his turn, but he'll like gesture, being like, "Hey, I'm here too." But he won't like barge in there, but he'll make sure to be visual.
Eventually, she will excuse herself from speaking with the burgomaster of the town and approach you directly, towering over you. But she holds out a hand. My thanks. You fought bravely.
No, I should be the one thanking you. Just give me a second. As York goes up to him, whispers to his ear, but obviously not moving his jaw at all, and he will repeat what he thinks is York is saying. Gracias te be to me, angelum, pro chul mom.
A smile kind of forms on her face as she recognizes what you're attempting to say, and replying in angelic, which York has to translate. She asks, "What are your names?"
Zach Francis Morgan and York Morgan.
Blessings upon you both.
I've never been blessed by an angel. This is... Ooh.
Shiver goes down his spine.
Yep. Again, thank you.
I break away from a tough conversation I'm having with some people who lost someone, and I walk over and I sort of slap a hand on Zach's shoulder. I mistrusted you. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry about that. You were important, and if I'd have my way, you wouldn't have been there. So, apologies.
I assume I showed myself, or I proved myself today. Then you just hear the crow quivering in his voice.
Yes, Zach, you did. We were all in a weird place when you met us, just half a day ago. But you did good, and thank you. I sort of acknowledge the angel in our presence.
So the Bella will reach out a hand, touch the line of the vitiligo on Cillian's face. I am sorry. I wish there was something I could do.
Yeah, me too, girl. I'm not upset about it, though. Here for a good time, not a long one.
I would drink to that, but I don't have any drinks.
Yeah. Fresh out, too. You deserve one, though. I mean, not for nothing. That worked like a gem. I mean, we won easily? Can I say that word? It felt easy. I only went down once.
As you say that, you can look down and you see the blood starting to pool around Zach's boots. He's still bloodied and pretty heavily wounded, but, alive.
Yeah, and I got swallowed up. And he sounds like excited. He doesn't sound like worried or anything.
I think Amrita will she'll be closer, but not that close. But she's looking out for Acrio and probably for his brother Gus. But she'll kind of say an angelic, not directly speaking to Cithabella. It's true what they say about light that comes in the darkest of times, beyond clouds.
As you're looking out over the group, you can catch sight of Asuriel, who's gotten here before you with your diversion to the dog and duck, and you see Gus with his wife and holding his daughter in his arms, just clutching onto her. You can see there's soot from his face that gets smeared onto her, and she's drawing on it on his face.
Baby.
He wants to feel glad, but yet in this moment there's a little bit of hesitancy and stuff that Acrio should probably know.
Asuriel would go to Lorelei when she's not too busy. It's like, could you take a look at Gus? I think something really weird happened to him.
Lorelei's half paying attention. I think she might have been trying to help someone and then just zoned out, and they've probably just moved on to someone who is actually paying attention. And she just blinks as she turns to Asuriel. What?
Are you feeling okay?
I'm fine. What do you need?
could you take a look at Gus? Something pretty weird happened to him. Just to make sure he's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. And she'll follow behind Asuriel.
At a cursory glance, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with him at all. There's a bit of a catch in his step, but you can see up one leg where it looks like probably his pant leg had caught on fire because the cloth is burned away and you can see the skin is singed somewhat. Doesn't look bad enough that you really like a little medical salve is probably all it needs.
Yeah.
But
spit on it.
Cold compress in time.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Acrio? Do you know? Or here, come over to the side for a minute.
Okay.
I need to tell you something.
No, that's actually a good question. Where the fuck is Acrio?
He's come around a couple times. He's just helping people with things.
Yeah,
he was making rounds.
Lorelei.
He might be back.
Here.
Well, let me know if you see him.
I can try and go look for him.
But then there's that awkward thing where you're gone and then he arrives and then we have to wait for you. It's...
Lorelei, can we step outside for a moment, please?
Yes.
I'm just a forest gremlin, tending to my berries.
God,
Is that your Lorelei cosplay?
Distracting me.
Yes, I'm just an innocent little cleric.
Why did I
Anyway.
decide to play with you today?
Amrita, what do you want?
All right. Listen, that coach, there's something else to address, but we'll figure that out in a minute. But that coach, right, Crimson Code, it's like a phantom in the night, but I don't... All right, Sir Lane, he was here, because he's here, gave information, because he wanted information from Repeller. That was a fair exchange, and wants to meet later at night, but whether or not anyone else wants to come to that, who knows? I don't know anything, but he talked about that specific carriage. And
Why that
I
carriage?
don't know what could be wrong with Gus.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
When I asked him about the Markovs, or he mentioned that's what it is to avoid it, and I said what happens if a person was to walk out of it, how he sounded, what if Gus isn't himself anymore? I'm not gonna assume that now because clearly I was fucking wrong about Asuriel, and I don't even know anything about that and any of this other stuff. I'll admit that. That's why I'm trying. We need to find Acrio first to let him know so that way he can address it because that's his family. And I don't know, but it's just something to know, and that's what Sir Lane had indicated. There's a lot to add on, I know, to his hometown, but...
Are you okay, by the way? After that fight?
You and Cillian are the two that almost died. I didn't. One of my arrows was a poor shot. That poor shot almost could have cost a life, probably. Have to do better.
Well, that was fine.
No, it wasn't. 2 out of 3 wasn't the best.
Lorelei doesn't say anything further, and she just quietly files back into the church.
What is Acrio up to during all this time? Having not found Gus at his residence, which actually, go ahead and roll me a percentile.
Oh god.
Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Nope.
Yeah, it's intact.
Yeah. I just need to look at something. Why did I
Quiet
pin
and
that?
dark.
Sitting in the center of town where we beat the shit out of Riverax. I don't know. I don't know. He should be doing something heroic like helping people build a house again or something. But he's tired.
There'll be time for that.
Still bodies in the fucking river.
Fucking killed a demon and slayed a witch, and he's been dragged halfway across Stenzia by these fucking psychopaths. He just wants to sit on this little ledge right now and carve a little statue for fun. And you know what? He'll whistle and he'll be happy as he does it. And if people want to come around and sit by him, he'll tell stories of his trips across Innistrad and what he and his party have done.
While he's doing that and trying to keep up this tune, this Stensian folk song, the ping of his hammer against the chisel is taking a stone from the cobblestone street, one of the larger ones, to try to shape it into something, because it's the only thing he can focus on right now is making something. There's a shadow that passes over him in the morning light. It just dims momentarily as you see across the street this shape and a pair of wings that then fold in, and you feel a hand on your shoulder. Roll for initiative.
All right, I saw you fucking kissing Lorelei. I will fucking die. Sets it down, and he's like, before he like hits it, he like backtracks, and the inertia kind of pulls him forward a little bit as he stops the hammer, sets it down, which means it's just kind of floating in the air as he turns to what I'm hoping is Cithabella.
It is, in fact. You would hear her just say in the common tongue, because she knows that you've not been able to master angelic. I am sorry. I was away. Gisela called us all. I will not burden you with the troubles of Innistrad. But the forge has been dark without you.
It's fine. Things came up. I had to take care of them, and I'm just glad you're here. You don't have to babysit me wherever I go. And I'm sorry for leaving the forge so long, but every single time I tried to go somewhere, just something new kept popping up, and it's just one disaster after the other.
You can see her glowing eyes look up out over the cross streets where the crossroads where the witch's body is still laying mangled, the undead skins burned up on the ground. There's no trace of Riverax, but that summoning circle or the teleportation circle drawn on the ground with the candles still remains. It is I who am sorry for leaving this place unguarded. We both bear immense weight and responsibility. I know how heavy it is.
I just want to know one thing. Why didn't the church send more Cathars here? You knew that I would be away from my town, and you just accepted that there'd be no Cathars here? Yeah, you're supposed to guard this place. Where are all the Cathars are supposed to be here as well? If it's just me, then I can't be exploring all of Innistrad. Who said Acrio Revito, that's enough, but he'll never actually be in his hometown?
I do not understand the politics of Avacyn's church. These are not my decisions to make. Would that it were so. This world is changing. The Ashmouth has not erupted in decades, by your reckoning, but it has. There will be much more work.
Yeah. Would I know when the forge fell and when the Ashmouth erupted? Is that like a regular thing, or?
The Ashmouth is very sporadic in eruptions. And no, I don't think you would know when the forge was lost. It would have probably been, several hundred years for sure.
Yeah. It'll be hard, and there will be new threats, but the fires of the forge will light again, and new heroes will rise with weapons of the angels. That I can promise.
Cithabel is still standing behind you as you're sitting on this little ledge. You can feel her get down on one knee behind you, which is almost, it's still towering above you as you're sitting. And her arms reach around you from behind. You're still holding this hammer and chisel, but you're just pulled in as you hear in your ear this voice, and you can just barely feel the breath because angels don't breathe the way humans do, but it's almost more like a cool breeze. Now is time to rest, and tell me that again when you mean it.
Once Breylet's rebuilt, we'll go back. Luckily, Riverax didn't level the entire town, so it's not that hard, but there's still some to do. Approximately 12% of the town, if I'm doing my math right.
I will wait for you. And with that, this day kind of fades out. You will all level up to 5th,
What?
Ew.
And over the course of the next several weeks to months, what are you guys going to be doing? You are free to work on Breylet, go your separate ways for the time being, and then reconvene. But there will be kind of a nebulous time where you can accomplish things and do a few things narratively without, the immediate threat of everything collapsing around you.
Is that possible?
I like how, like, the lack of a threat just means, let's skip that. Bullshit. Push that out of the way. We don't need that. That compartmentalize into
While we think about what we're doing, let's roll HP real quick. To give us a chance to think about what it is we want to do.
I don't want to roll HP.
Fuck this. I'm taking the
You
average.
do also get a +2.
No,
you're
Jake,
Stinsian.
we can't take the average in this. He said we have
Plus-
to roll
Yes,
in Innistrad,
yeah,
remember?
everybody's rolling.
Yeah.
Wait, plus to what?
Well, you get your
That's good.
+2 HP because you're Stinsian.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck! Wait, I can reroll one, right?
You can re-roll it one time. If you get another one, you're stuck with it.
Check that out,
One
boy.
more.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh my god.
I hate it here.
What about max HP?
Alright.
Wow.
Jake.
Roll.
We're
That's
all
better.
fucked.
I'm gonna wait because I don't know. How
What
do I
was
have
that
this?
Well, actually, this is the
you had said,
average.
Stein?
The max HP reduction.
We'll get to that in a moment narratively.
Okay. Oh.
It will go away,
Okay.
but yeah. So both Lorelei and Cillian, the witch's curse on you, that dispels, and then when we get into what Cillian's doing, we'll go into what the vampire's effects on him have been.
Fuck.
Rolling 2 on the HP die, baby. Let's go.
What would I have gotten if I could re-roll? Let's see.
I got the second most, and I have a +1.
Oh, fuck you, roll 20. Fuck off.
The day will fade to evening, dusk. Amrita will have been able to finally get with everyone.
Nice.
I was just about to make
Yes.
a joke.
Amrita explains there's a lot of bodies in the river, and maybe that's likely what has been making people sick because corpses are in the river. And they were no longer moving when she had left after taking care of some of it, but that they should definitely handle it and get people to get the bodies out of there, do whatever they can to clean out the river supply so people are no longer getting sick. But that should probably have attention too.
And Grandpa Acrio didn't get sick because he literally only fucking drank alcohol. God fucking damn it.
He was Everclear.
He was literally Everclear.
His
Blood,
blood is 80% alcohol.
Motherfucker. I was like, is Grandpa Revito with the veil? No, he's just an alcoholic.
He's just discovered the antiseptic technique.
Yep. Truly, the
But yeah.
best of all of us.
Who all would decide to try to meet up with this known vampire?
Oh, hell yeah. Hot vampire? Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck yeah, let's go.
Lorelei explains briefly to Cillian what Lane looks like.
Why are they all hot?
I know,
It's
I hate
unfair.
I
It is
hate it.
unfair.
I hate it.
Would Zach be up to speed about the fact that we're meeting up with a vampire, or just that we're meeting up with somebody?
I mean, if he's around, I don't think we'd keep it from him.
Yeah, getting
okay.
the loot.
Vampires are a common occurrence in Stinsia. It's meeting with one usually means you're about to die, but
Yeah, that's kind of why it's like, oh, does he know that's a vampire? Because if he does, then he's gonna be like, oh. Yeah,
He's
exactly.
probably- I imagine he's probably listening in, or it's like, of course, one of the other ones tell them, and Amrita just gets this look like, why did you guys tell him?
It's just like the two guys about to hang me is like first time.
Why are we meeting up with a vampire?
No,
Actually,
I'm
I
sad.
would like to know the same thing. I've never interacted with such an individual, and I would much prefer not after our last encounter. I'm alive right now, and I'd like to stay that way.
Then don't, and go check on your brother. That might be more tending to for reasons.
He's okay. You saw him.
Oh, well, yes, but he also came out of that creepy carriage, and he
The carriage,
didn't
as
look
I will
there.
explain, Sir Lane told me that it's of the Markov estate, and usually people that walk out of carriages like that, I don't know. It's your family, though, and your thing, but I just thought that's information you should know.
What were his priorities after? What was the first thing you wanted to do?
I don't know, he didn't look quite there when he came out of that carriage. Physically he seems fine, but something must have happened to him. Coming out of something like that, I don't know.
From what I saw, he entered the church and immediately went to his daughter. That seems like the thinking of a sane man.
I
I don't know, but
I'm a little worried about him. I just don't know what could be wrong.
Crimson and death, vampires'
That's
ways.
a lot to address that you've just dumped on me.
That's why I'm just gonna leave. And she's gone.
Okay.
Can't deal with any of this anymore. It's
Okay. Had a feeling about that one. Lorelei, vampire, you know him?
The Lane? I know him.
Is he going to kill us?
If he's asking about information, I don't see why he would. Seems like he has other business.
What family is he from?
Falconrath.
Seems
And
like
as
a
far-
bad
and as-
idea to claim people on other people's ground.
Yeah, and if he is with the person, if he is allied with the person I think he's allied with, he's definitely cool. If he's allied with the other person in the Falconrath, I don't think he's as cool. But I would.
Lorelei,
hot
is he
people
going to
aren't
kill us?
85% certain no.
Good enough for me. Let's go.
That leaves 12%, probably.
You always gotta leave a margin of error.
Yeah, like Amrita rolling 100.
3% might take a sip.
I think I'll stay here. Maybe me and vampires aren't. Me and York, we don't have a good thing about the vampires.
I don't think anybody does.
I know, it's just.
Yeah, you don't have to explain it. It's fine.
You've done enough. You're good. Both of you.
I lost York once. I can't lose him again.
That is
Fighting a demon is enough scare for
All right,
a
good.
while.
Thank you. And sorry. And he'll just sit down.
Need a vampire.
Fuck a vampire.
As we're going, I want to have one more conversation with Lorelei.
Mm-hmm.
Because this cannot go unmentioned.
Oh, I'm sure it's very obvious what Cillian wants to bring up.
He's like jumping for it.
Fall backwards a few paces from the group. Be like,
You did it!
I thought we were going to die.
That's a great excuse. How was it?
It's alright. I've never done it
Yeah.
before, so
What a moment to pick a first kiss, Lorelei.
yeah, I don't exactly need your review on it. It's fine. I just
Sure.
I thought at that moment that one of us was definitely gonna kick the bucket, and I didn't want to have to go through losing someone again without closure. So I thought I'd do it myself this time.
Please, don't overthink this one. It's not worth it.
I overthink everything.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you.
Besides, I needed to. He doesn't even seem to want to bring it up, so that might be a good thing.
Did you bring it up?
No, why would I? Hi, remember when I Hi, Acrio, remember when I totally violated your personal space and didn't even ask first?
Lorelei, stop! You're insane! Love is the best thing we do, the best thing, okay? And I'm not sure if it's love, it doesn't have to be, but please don't stop yourself from letting it be something more. You deserve it. You did good. You did good, Lorelei. Not only with the kiss, but with everything. And I know there's still a lot of question marks about a lot of things, but one thing I do know is that he cares about you a lot. A lot.
He yanked me out of the mouth of a demon.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to go anywhere, but
No, it doesn't.
I just wanted him to know in that moment that I was grateful. You know, the world's pitch fucking black, and very rarely you find people that are just candles, and a single candle can feel like it lights up a whole room. He is not a candle, he is a bonfire, and I've never seen anyone burn that brightly, and I just needed to feel the warmth one more time before it possibly went out, and it didn't. So it's good for me. It's good for the rest of my life, quite frankly.
If you don't tell him that, I will.
I'll fucking kill you.
I expect you to.
Don't say anything to him, okay?
You know how bad I am with keeping my words inside my mouth. I know.
Acrio doesn't do words. That's why I could have said I wanted to say 100 things to him in that moment, and that's why I chose not to. He just doesn't do words.
You know, that's something I didn't think about. Then keep showing him.
I probably will.
And give her a hug from behind.
And she just elbows him. Like, see, I'm not entirely sad all the time.
No, and I'm so happy about that.
Acrio was strong of heart, dumb of ass.
He is strong of heart, dumb of ass. He got a big heart, but he ain't got much going on in that brain of his.
He got a big heart.
Yeah. Big tits.
I was gonna say that sounded like I was talking about his dick, but no, I'm talking about his tits.
The only person with bigger tits than Lorelei, Acrio.
Acrio.
His pec muscles are massive.
You ever seen that meme of like the really muscular guy with the
About
massive
to
chest
say
and the girl
that.
next to him just like staring at it? Like, is that them? Yeah, onwards to a hot vampire.
As the group of you who do decide to leave the walls of Breylet at dusk, when the clouds are turning their strange colors of purple and green and orange in the sunset, the field of green that is starting to sprout up, not the one that Acrio had worked just this morning, but one of the others that has already been planted. You can see the rows of these little sprouts and the shape of this singular figure. No horse, no carriage, just a single man standing in the field.
Continues walking ahead of the group and toward that figure.
The group that follows behind you gets kind of a curious glance, surveyed by what would you would only suspect to be an armored warrior type. If you didn't know, you would have no way of knowing that he was a vampire in nature. But he just waits with a hand resting on the hilt of his sword until you are all appropriate out of earshot from the town itself.
Evening, sir. Wanted to speak to us?
You've all found yourselves in the crosshairs of a great game, one that is more dangerous than you realize.
What
That to
game?
do with the carriage.
Hopefully not, but it adds a complication. I'm going to tell you something in confidence. It is not to be shared. It will be a death sentence if you do, and not by the Falkenrath. I know you are on the bad side of Lady Olivia. Not a place to be. This will make it either better or worse, depending on how you deal with it. You see, the Falkenrath, we are a curious bloodline. While the others are led by their progenitors, the Falkenrath have none. Our originator, the eldest of us, was killed a long time ago. And so we are led by various individuals over various decades, centuries even. And the decision of who leads is made in a rather particular game, the winner of which takes all, until it cycles back around. My lady, Isabella, her mother, is vying for the top spot of the Falkenrath, and she has made an alliance with Olivia Voldaren. I do not like this, and neither does her daughter.
Can't say I'm surprised, given how Isabella and both Williams spoke of their mother, even Nathaniel. Not on good terms, I should say.
Anastasia Flint is an underhanded woman, even by our standards. The Falkenrath have more honor than the rest of these modern vampires. We cling to tradition. She does not. Unfortunately, she has many supporters, and many who would not hear of conspiracies.
So which way are these pawns moving? Is it gesture towards the rest of us?
That's up to you. I don't make these decisions for you. I just want to see how it plays out.
What would you suggest?
Personally, if I were you, I would leave Stinzy entirely. But that may not be so easy.
Why exactly are you telling us this?
Call it a favor to Sir William.
He's a good guy. I mean, I spoke to him only a bit, but I liked him.
He's reluctant, but he has honor. In the war that's coming, he will be an interesting knight to watch.
Are you threatened by the other houses in this war?
It's not supposed to be. This is the first time they have intervened.
That doesn't spell much good.
Lady Olivia subjugated the more local houses. The Maur estate leveled the place, and those that remain are now loyal to her. This is not merely Anastasia Flint's ambition, but Olivia Voldaren's herself.
Do you know what could have happened to the man that was in the crimson carriage, as you put it?
The man.
Earlier, when I had asked about a person walking outside of a carriage, I meant that I saw a man. A regular human, you might say. That's why I inquired.
A pawn, no doubt. Likely a spy, unwittingly, I would suspect, though there are many thralls. The Markovs extend their influence deep into Innistrad. They are the first, and they maintain their power viciously.
I pull the marionette card from my... Just look at it.
Do you show it to Lane?
I mean, I don't hide it from him.
Sure.
Acrio at the back is hyperventilating in his helmet and very quietly turns and starts walking back.
His heart rate is accelerated, far beyond the rest of you.
Lorelei's gonna go and catch his arm. Stop him going too far.
We thank you, Sir Lane. You didn't have to do this.
I always repay my debts.
Oh, and if ever you just want to, hang
Cillian.
one... What? Trent.
Perhaps at the conclusion of this game, my time will be free.
God damn it.
I'll hold you to that.
Lorelei got the horny stick.
Cillian got the horny stick.
Well,
No,
no,
I'm gonna
because
hit him
he
with
needs
it.
to get bonked with
I'm
it.
gonna hit him.
Oh, yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
bash him over the head with it.
Go on.
Yeah, Acrio's standing there. If he does know what he's doing, we have to kill him. If he doesn't know what he's doing, we have to kill him. The only way we freed them last time was because we fucking chopped a vampire's head off.
There's gotta be a simpler way.
Elaine, do you know of any way
To what? To what end?
to, I don't know, release him from control if it's unwilling?
From the Markovs? Good luck. You are already under an intense scrutiny from the Voldaren. Do you want other vampires in your business?
I mean, if we're under scrutiny from one, having someone be jealous is not the worst thing.
Throwing any more ire is
A
not.
dangerous play, I like it.
I mean, we're already at the beginning of the war, it sounds like. Put people up against each other, I say.
Or just put everyone against us.
I wish to know what the Markov's stake in this is, but their machinations far above mine.
I'd love to find out, but I think they would notice someone under their nose.
I believe it's getting late.
It's up to you what you do. How involved you want to be in this. Consider it more a warning.
It's taken. We already had a feeling we were in safe here. We met some of the Voldaren on the way here. Weren't too gracious.
They have a unique sense of hospitality.
Yeah, that sort of rub. So, out of Voldaren and Markov, who's worse?
Is this inner out of character?
Both. Bitch.
It was intended
Yes.
to be in character, so let's say in character.
Worse.
Who's
I will
smarter?
tell you who is worse. Anastasia Flint. But I serve her daughter.
And you think you chose the right horse?
It is not my place to choose. I am a knight. I have my honor. The
Is there
other
anything
vampire houses do not respect the old ways, as the Falkenrath do. I think we are brutish. I don't want to see our house go the way of them. And I think Anastasia would make it this way.
I wouldn't be surprised if we wind up in these claws. I think we'll meet again, Knight.
Would this war harm Breylet or the other villages in Stensia?
Villages. The human stock are not our concern. They are rations for the war.
Okay.
Oh,
Yet here
yeah.
and yet here you are giving the battle plans to the rations.
Or more than
I have-
rations, come on.
I have set the board. It is not you who can move the pieces, only yourselves. Be aware of what's around you. Sir Lane will take just a half step toward Amrita as she's beginning to go. Lady Isabella, she thinks of you often. Your talks.
They were good talks. I can't say that I do not forget to reflect on them as well. Might I have but a private inquiry of you? Perhaps a favor to ask, and then I owe you a favor in return.
I could make use of this. Lane will grab you around the waist as you see a pair of spectral bat-like wings burst out of his back, and you suddenly feel this rush of wind as you are picked up and moved some 100 feet away up into the air as he's just
Cillian
holding
is
you like
not okay.
incredibly close. Speak.
And she just looking down, just like, you managed to figure out some of the curses of the eye that I had on my forehead. Do you know more about other curses?
We have access to much research. What kind are we speaking of?
One that would... oddity it is, but a person that gets forgotten when they're dead or also living. I wondered if it can't be removed.
He would kind of like lean around your shoulder so that his teeth are right next to your ear. Oblivion.
See that man down there? With the eyesore of purple leather and scarf? He's stuck
The beautiful
with something
skin?
like
That would be a shame to forget. You wish me to look into this. This is a strong favor.
that. I'll give you 2 favors, maybe even 3, if you do this.
Don't
Find a way
overexert
to
yourself. You are only human.
So it's a deal then.
It will take some time. I'm very busy. But I'll find out what I can. As you find yourself slowly descending back into the field.
At some point I'll be going to Hanware, but I'm sure you can find me until then.
We've been keeping track of you. I knew you were coming here. I know where you'll be going next. But thank you for being so forthcoming.
Better get back to your lady.
Once my mission is complete.
Then she'll walk back.
And he will just remain standing in the field as the rest of you can go.
As you walk back towards Acrio, Lorelei, and Cillian, you just hear the end of, I mean, it's just unfair that he has wings. It's so easy to woo someone with wings. Asuriel, take notes. That is the best thing you can do. I mean, it's...
I used to have wings in another life.
The saying does go, sweep someone off their feet. I suppose that's easy to do when you have...
Exactly.
Oh.
I remember a golden form of thorns and holiness. It was a dream, I suppose.
I'm not sure why all of you are still here when you could easily be walking back to the inn or to go to bed.
Well,
I
you
still
know...
don't get what they're saying.
Sorry, we wanted to look out for you. As you were literally carried off into the air by a vampire, we wanted to make sure you got back safe.
I also say the splat would have been amazing. No, that's horrible.
Was there a
Acrio
catch?
wouldn't say that.
Yeah, that's a Cillian thing.
Yeah. A little bit of
That's
flair got
Gideon.
out there. A little Gideon or flair.
Put the fire away.
Wow.
Summoning flare.
Well, that's something else to think about. Fucking hell.
Yeah, she's gonna take out that purple bag real quick as well and open it. There appears to be 5 diamonds in here. And there's 5 of us.
Diamonds.
Yeah,
Diamonds?
Okay, see?
it's what Remus gave during the thing.
That's unfortunate.
You know, I think he's top of the list for me right now.
Oh, he's up there.
What list?
Or-
Shit
oh,
list.
you know, kill, shit.
Push
any
off a
list.
cliff.
Oh.
You gotta get creative with it.
For some reason, I don't think pushing him off a cliff would work.
Yeah.
Depends on how high the cliff is.
But yeah, she's just gonna hold out the bag. It's like, I don't know. One of you could take it if you want. Like looking at Lorelei and Acrio. I'm going to bed.
I'll take it. It's not easy to do, but diamonds, I'm pretty sure, are used in bringing people back from the dead. If you're quick.
Like is always the keyword.
Do you want to mess with that shit though? It's insane magic. Can mess a lot up.
There's no other magic I'd rather want to mess with. If it's not someone's time to go yet. Besides, 5 diamonds is 5 of us. That's a few second chances.
On that point, I think there's something we need to do right now, and no one can say no.
No.
Fuck you, group hug, now.
Okay. Cyril will immediately go in for the hug.
Do we have to?
Yeah, Amrita's out. Like she's walking away. Just like,
Amrita!
Mm.
Amrita Mablethorne! Get in here!
I thought I heard the sound of a bird. And doesn't turn around.
It's okay, buddy. We love you. Give Cillian a hug. No idea who you are. We love you, buddy.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're right.
So what are you doing about Gus?
It'll haunt
If anything.
Acrio, but he can't bring himself to kill his brother. Can't kill the vampire that's doing it. Can't kill his brother. What's he doing? It's a town of nobodies and nothings.
Lorelei will put a hand on Acrio's shoulder, sort of sensing his hesitancy. If you need anyone to do it for you.
No. If he has to die, it has to be. I have to do it.
He doesn't have to die. We could tell him, there's gotta be a way.
He doesn't.
Telling him
know.
might actually kill him. If he's a spy and they find out he's compromised, they might just do it themselves.
The only way to get him free is to kill whatever's controlling him.
Like Lane said, people are just livestock.
If we're not here, they won't care.
Exactly. I don't think
another town. On
it's
the
just
map.
an information point within Breylet, which isn't the worst thing. I mean, maybe tell your dad or something.
I don't think you should tell anyone. The more people that know, the more risk.
Everyone,
when
just
that's enough.
make sure you don't say anything around my brother. Then,
Lips are sealed.
Got it.
Like secrets.
not where we're going, not what we're doing, not who we've talked with. For all intents and purposes, talking around him is as bad as talking around Ramus. Ramus?
Remus.
Ramus.
Ramus.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I was like, Ramus? Okay.
An armadillo?
So with that, we'll fade out at the end of the day. And like I said, you all will have several weeks, up to maybe a month, potentially, of downtime, and you can decide what you're going to be doing, and you can go separate ways, reconvene later, however you want to manage that. Just what would you all be doing during that time for the remainder? I will say for the remainder of the new moon season.
Oh.
So it will be,
and that's the best
harvest
one, right?
moon.
Yeah.
It'll be the harvest moon next, which is when the vampires are at their peak.
Oh,
Oh yeah, thanks.
no.
Ah.
Can't get enough.
Yuck. Let's just get out. Guys, let's just get out of Stensia.
Get the fuck out of Dodge, man. We gotta go.
Will be at the forge. Not bringing anybody with me.
Aw.
Bringing one person with me.
Yeah.
Bringing 2 people with me.
Wait.
No more. Because Asuriel and Cithabella are apparently married couple for 800 years. They're just long lost wife and wife.
You never heard of a family reunion not being of a married couple, have you?
I have not.
I guess not. Wow, that's pretty sad.
I was gonna say she was gonna try and seek out Cithabella to talk.
Yeah, okay, so original plan, just Acrio and Lorelei. And then maybe after some convincing from Asuriel. Fucking demon.
What does Cithabella's symbol look like?
Symbol?
Or like, is she represented in some way?
Oh, she is. You would discover if you were to talk to Acrio about it or anything.
Yeah, I think so.
Cithabella is a member of the Flight Gold Knight, which is Gisella's Flight of Angels.
Okay, I think I replace Avacyn with that in my ear.
It would be the symbol of the sun.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. That's just a small thing. So, continue.
Yeah, holy crew to the forge, I guess.
Holy crew to the forge.
Oh, damn. That's cool.
Lorelei will probably spend most of the time sort of adjacent to the forge, like maybe only briefly going in and out to see if she's needed, but she's going to spend a lot of time in sort of semi-solitude in the woods, just picking plants and praying. As she's sort of gathered an armful of, I don't know what kind of flowers or like flowering plants are native to this area, but after she's gathered like an armful of them, she sat with her back against a tree, and she just finds herself absent-mindedly like plucking at the petals and the leaves, and she's speaking out loud as if talking to someone directly in front of her. Like, I thought I'd be happier about this. I thought killing Riverax would make me feel better. I don't feel any different. If anything, I feel worse. And I didn't know that was gonna be possible. I thought, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, Bruna. I don't know why I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing. I don't know why I don't feel like I'm with the right people or on the right path. I want to be what they need. I just feel like I'm too much and not enough at the same time. I don't feel like I'm anyone's first choice. I wasn't even a demon's first choice, and I don't know why that hurts me as much as it does. What I'm asking for is just some kind of sign that you're still with me. Because having infernal runes carved into my skin is a great way to feel disconnected. And if I'm not deserving of your power, then please just tell me.
As with so many prayers, there's no immediate answer. You don't hear a voice giving you any direction, only a searching. Can I have you roll a d100?
D100. Oh God.
Nice. That's actually good.
Oh, okay.
So, over the course of the remainder of the new moon season, you're foraging various days worth your time in kind of the wooded area at the foot of the mountain, partially collapsed. You can see the evidence of it, of a rock slide that's hundreds of years old, but still visible. You are able to collect 81 GP worth of materials for herbalism.
All right.
So you have access to some pretty potent components.
Yeah, you don't say. Oh, maybe I should do some experimentation with that, see if I can learn another recipe.
What's Zach going to be up to? Does he stick around Breylet, or does he continue his adventures elsewhere?
I'd say he would stick around. He'd probably like take a minute, get something, get some drinks if there's any left. Like, I don't know if bar is still around or the barkeep's alive after being a vampire.
What happened to the barkeep?
The Dog and Duck Tavern changes management in the days after Riverax's appearance. Unrelated, maybe, but there are new owners and a new barkeep.
Yeah, he'll be there. I think like at first, if they met with him, like after meeting with the vampire, he was all worried and like glad that they were still alive. And now he's just kind of like drinking himself silly, being like, couldn't even muster facing off a vampire. I faced off a fucking demon worm, but not a small ass vampire. Just like York all over again, right? York, and then that's probably how it's probably gonna be, that and like helping people who need to be helped. So he'll stick with Breylet.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of rebuilding that needs to be done, even if it's just tearing down part of a house and putting up a new wall and retiling the roof and that sort of thing. So if he's willing to put his back into it, there's a lot to be done.
Yeah, you got a 2-in-1 deal right there. So yep.
I think Cillian really wants to talk to Zach about his brother, his affinity with Geist and stuff. I think he wants some more information about it. Maybe even become something like friends.
Yeah, I'd say he's all ears. You probably catch him like in the bar.
Because it really is something. He hasn't seen a lot of guys attached to someone else. Like, it's always him. So I think there's a lot of interest there.
Yeah, put up a seat. Not too sure if he's really a ghost or anything. He's new. Yeah, he's something. It's been a while since he died, since he got this new form, but ever since we were kids, only I could really speak to him. You see like Zach kind of rub the back of his like neck, or like kind of a weird like neck head kind of motion. It's complicated. But he's different now. He wasn't always like this, or like this. He's having like hard time explaining stuff.
I can hear all of them. I can talk to most of them. Your brother seems out of reach for me. I didn't even know he was there. It's just interesting.
Yeah, he has a knack of doing things like that. Only I can speak to him. Maybe it's because of how we were connected back in the day.
Guys tend to. There's a lot of gray in this area, and I'm not sure I got every information you need about this, but there's a lot of familial things when it comes to Geists. They need an anchoring point, something that defines them, because as an entity, Geists are formless. You are giving as much form to him as he is to himself. people change when they die. They can become angry, spiteful, at peace. I hope your brother's at peace. He seemed... You looked complete when you were fighting alongside him.
Trust me, it was hard when I lost him. As you can tell, he'll turn around from you and like show like a massive scar like at the back of his neck, seemingly going like all the way. If this was like a wound, it would have like taken off all of his back, pretty much. We were closer than anything. I guess this would be his anchor if that was the case. And then he covers it back with his armor.
I'm sorry that whatever happened to you. And I know I'm kind of a dick sometimes, but you have got a friend in me now.
That's in very short supply. I'm glad to hear that.
Listen, big things are happening in Stensia. I don't want to make a choice for you because why would I? Just know that things are gonna get dangerous. Probably when the moon turns.
It's always been dangerous here. I try to avoid those bloodsuckers as much as I can. Ever since one thought Zach was a delicacy, so. But I don't feel good doing it. It feels like I could do much better. I feel like a little kid every time I do it.
Good luck, Zach.
And on the topic of vampires, over the next few nights of rest for Cillian, as it has been during his travels, how does the bite on his neck from Kraus influence him? Only as descriptive as you want to go.
So, I'm going to get back to this, and I want to first throw something to the group, because I'm not sure if I want to do it, but I, as a player, really want to do it, but I'm not sure. So, I want Cillian to go to one of the manors. I want them to go to one of the manors and act like basically what Cormac was. That's sort of...
That's a great way to just become what Cormac was.
Oh, no.
Exactly. But, you know, vampire bite, I think it might lead him to it, and I think it would be really cool, but I'm not sure Cillian would want to. That's sort of the point.
I don't think Amrita would want him to.
Depends on how much of Cillian's self-preservation you want to immediately have thrown out the window, because I think he knows better than that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the point. It's just sort of something I thought was cool.
Hey man, you're the one on the wheel.
I think you should roll a sanity save against.
Yeah, why not?
Resisting. Are you sane enough to know that's a bad idea, or horny?
Oh god.
Okay.
DC 15.
No. DC lower. I'm gonna say DC 10. Okay.
All right, 50-50. Okay.
I mean, I have +2, so it's a bit better than 50. Okay, I don't.
You're not going.
Not going carousing.
You're not getting that vampire dick.
That is a great way to not be able to make it back in one piece.
Hey guys, I'm in some chains right now. Can't come and help. What, you mean like a chains like metaphorical way? No, they really like bondage.
Okay, then I think he's genuinely really affected by it. I think Cillian hides what he really wants a lot, and I think he's just, especially in his dreams with the bite and stuff, is just faced with it a lot of times. Just this excess desire, I guess, and he doesn't really know where he needs or wants to put that.
Eventually, though, that does fade. As strong as it was, especially immediately after being bitten, you find yourself eventually, not that you ever lost control, but just your dreams are less, shall we say, explicit.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot.
I mean, back to normal levels, we'll say. Less vivid, less. They feel
Whatever's
less like
normal
that's
for
perfect.
Cillian, that is.
Less back to back.
Duh.
And so I can remove all the negative HP.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Feels good.
What's Amrita trying to do during this time?
When Cillian wakes up, he finds a note. Meet me outside of Breylet, half a mile west. Amrita.
And they kiss.
I sort of think this is the last night the bite faded. So I look at it, sort of push thoughts out of my head, and I smile, and I follow.
And it shouldn't be too hard to find after a while because you would hear the sound of a flute playing, and it's definitely a different tune. I'll share it later, but it's probably some Kessig folk song or something that she would know.
I haven't heard that in a long time. I like going through that song.
It's much better to be there. There is more trees and more woods. All this rock is not for me.
I was born there, you know? Somewhere in Keswick. Not entirely sure where, but somewhere.
Fascinating. I have no
Why
idea.
do you always do that? Why do you make me feel like my stories aren't funny? Because I know they are.
Just sit down next to me for a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't always have to tell funny stories, you know. I mean, I saw you cry. A lot. Cried so much that you stained my cloak.
Yeah, that wasn't my best luck, was it? I know I don't have to. I just prefer to, because if it doesn't come from me, it comes from no one. Lorelei talked to me about how so little light can do so much. And I agree with that, you know? It can do so much. And it's not worth it to be annoyed or stay angry. You don't deserve that.
The last time I think I had ever felt a strong emotion such as sadness, I guess, it was when it had happened, which I faintly remember it now lately. When I was in my room and in my parents' home, and the dress that I was wearing, it was brown and white, but it was tattered and there was so much blood.
You used to wear dresses?
I did. Once in a while, my mother had some, and I just not only remember tears streaming down from my face, not so much for what would happen to me, but what would happen to them because of what I was. And it was just a confusing time. And then that's when they took me to a man around the same time after it happened, some monster hunter. His name was Garrick. And Garrick taught me alchemy and the things that I can do with flames and such. I don't know why he helped me, knowing what I was, but he did, and it's a lot to explain. But I'm telling you some of this because if your curse were to activate something, consider this a way as if to prove that we've met before. And she would go into some descriptions, not a whole lot. I would fall multiple times down in the dirt and get back up, and he'd tell me that I needed to keep everything focused. And I did, and I could change really well, very easily. I was better with this. But then when it was probably around when I was 17, and I'd come back one day from training with him, and there was the fire and their bodies. I tried my damnedest, but it wasn't enough. If it wasn't for that weird symbol V, I don't know. And then I just stayed away. I tried to go back to my mentor's house, but he wasn't there, and I just ran into the night until I couldn't breathe anymore. I think
You
I was
haven't seen him
disappointed in
since?
myself. Nope. I haven't felt a feeling like that, but that sense of fear of what he could still do if he knew that maybe I forgot his teachings. I don't know. And then when I was gone for a year, I had saw someone I hadn't seen in a long time, but I haven't seen him in a year and 2 months now. You know, I hate that I was wrong about Asuriel, maybe in some way, as terrible as it sounds. I just wish that there was something else to worry about other than myself. I still have to worry about that, though, because what if she remembers a lot of stuff, and as much as I am a faith goer, I'd always go to church and wear specifically just brown and green dresses. But what if she were to kill me? Or what if she just tells someone what I am, like she told that Renford lady, or she told that woman that was dead? I don't know. But I'm leaving and I need to go. I'm going to Shadowgrange.
I listened to Amrita cut open something, let at least something spill out. And I look back at her tenderly and I say, Amrita Mablethorne, I will not let you forget me. And I steal a kiss. I'm coming with you. Don't have to say anything about that. I know it's complicated.
She's very confused for a moment. I was oddly enough going to ask if you wanted to come along. I'm going to do monster hunting. You don't have to do fighting part of it.
I have some things I need to figure out. I'll be glad to join you.
I think Amrita had said that she was going to volunteer to escort Acrio Revito to Shadowgrange during this time.
Did I
Yeah.
miss that? Oh, I guess I did.
If you mention it, Acrio never said anything, but I assume if she overhears them talking about it, volunteers
It
that.
would have come up, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say goodbye
So, yeah.
to my sister.
You've got Petunia, and you have access, as Asuriel had mentioned. You can round up Voltan's horse, and yeah, if you would like to purchase more, you have access to currency, however much of it you would like to exchange, or you can walk.
I think Cillian wouldn't mind walking.
Or just being really close on the horse with Amrita.
Kristen?
Sorry. We're out of character now. I can talk.
You need to take the second horse. Just Petunia's fine.
Don't worry. I'm about to buy a lot of
We're
mules.
reuniting, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will probably be around the time like before they're about to go and everything. And there's like a moment I think with Amrita and Lorelei.
And then they kiss?
We
No.
all did!
Well,
memories.
Yeah. They were all
God,
just
no.
really good friends.
No, anyway. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to concentrate.
Sorry. I'll mute myself.
You guys are little shits, I swear.
For the horses, sure. I think we'll spend some money to make the travel comfortable.
Depends how many of those diamonds you want to exchange for currency.
At least one, right?
One, because then you'd have 4.
Because
Left.
there is one for each. Everybody was paid with one. You do not know their value because nobody is a jeweler, but
Cillian right now doesn't mind spending one because if he were to die, they won't be using one.
I'm just keeping track of them anyway.
so yeah, if you would take that in to be exchanged, roll me. Actually, here, I'm going to roll it real quick. That one particularly is worth 305 GP, is the appraised value.
Hey, who's keeping the money?
I mean, it's Cillian's, so he can hold on to it for now.
Yeah, sure.
Purchase
why
a
not?
horse if you would like, or some other kind of mount, however you want to travel.
The most interesting one, but not too expensive.
Sure.
Like,
We can go into that out of character. Amrita, Cillian, and Acrio's younger sister, you all are able to make it to Shadowgrange. There is probably 1 or 2 little adventures on the road, but nothing you can't handle compared to what you have in the past. I'm going to say, in addition, Amrita, you are able to get a contract on a barghest that has been plaguing the town outside. Cillian actually comes in handy, as a barghest is usually a vengeful geist that has possessed either a wolf or a dog and kind of changed it, so his experience is rather useful in hunting it down and slaying it. So your payment, I'm going to have Cillian roll if he would negotiate for price, D100 plus your charisma score.
1D100, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Plus.
So, yeah, 77 gold pieces is what the pair of you are paid in total for services rendered in seeking out this creature and freeing Shadow Grange. The town itself is darker than anywhere else you've been in Stenzia. Like, the sun hides more from this than anywhere else. And as soon as it becomes even close to evening, the town is built almost up on the slope of a mountainside, tiered somewhat. So the shadow of the mountains are cast across it not long after noon even. Speaking of that, as you're collecting your payment for this from the constabulary, you would see on the wall, amongst other posters and notice board outside their garrison.
Cillian Hawthorne!
Murdered
Good grief.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, no.
I love that poster.
That is the coolest. Holy
Great.
shit.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
good.
Even in his wanted poster, he's got a shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
Ooh, let me just...
Fascinating.
Oh, I love
But yeah,
that.
while you're gone and the holy crew are at the forge, what's Acrio doing to occupy his time over the next few weeks?
I got a couple projects. Couple weeks? What? Where's all my fucking time, you sack of shit?
Up to a month or so.
Okay.
It's a handful of weeks.
I'll take a month. Alright. First thing, how plentiful are resources at the forge?
What kind of resources are you talking about?
Forge cart. Chop down a couple trees, use those trees,
So yeah, also I'll kind of describe the scene as the three of you approach. There's only about a day's walk on foot as the three of you, Acrio, Lorelei, and Asuriel, make it to the forge in an unassuming glade of trees at the base of a mountain. You wouldn't have expected anything to be here from a distance. It just looks like a little forested area with trees growing up the slope. The opening even of it almost seems more like a cave where the side of the mountain has collapsed on what would have been a fortress at one time. You can see Acrio's handiwork in clearing it out and exposing the doors that had been hidden under rubble that he's moved over weeks of work just to get inside. The halls are dim and unlit until Acrio lights the braziers that reveal these tall stone walls, emblems of blades etched into the stone around the upper edges. Some of the halls are still partially collapsed, and it's hard to climb over the stone to get to the central part of the forge. Several of the rooms still cut off that he's not yet been able to access. But the forge in the center, though unlit currently, is this massive bed of coals with vents and arcs coming off of it, with this symbol of 3 blades crossed in the center, where it looks like there has been the symbol of Avacyn affixed where perhaps there was something else originally. But that is what it currently looks like. You don't really see much Avacynian iconography on the way in, but there is definitely this symbol at the center of the forge itself. And Acrio can take the time to stoke the fires and relight the coals before he gets to work. So yeah, you have access to some trees. There's obviously plenty of stone nearby. Not a lot of actual raw metal to work with, unless you were to take some of the blades that are arrayed around the heart of the forge itself and rework them into something else.
Yeah.
But there is certainly an aura. There's, you like stepping on this, you can tell this is holy ground immediately. And standing in the center of the forge is Cithibella herself, or the forge arena, not the actual fire. But
yeah, you
just like in a hot tub. In a hot tub, like, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Acrio, in his familiar walk, where he just steps on all the right stones, on all the right branches, through the rubble, like he's done it thousands of times before. And as they finally enter the main hall, he slowly walks forward to the massive anvil that sits in front of the forge, runs his hand along it, and lifts up his hammer and sets it down on the main anvil. Well, it's good to be home. And to you two, welcome to my home.
Beautiful. This is really nice.
While I'm not a master blacksmith yet, I do my best. And I'll certainly be trying to improve my skills very soon, as he glances at Cithibella.
I'm sure you won't have a problem.
Nods with a smile.
There's bedrooms. I don't know what we'll do about food. We can go hunting.
I can go foraging for some stuff.
Thank you.
I'll keep putting my eyes out for things that we can actually eat.
Yeah.
We still got a spell to for getting stuff to eat. Eating berries for a while probably will get tiring.
Well, it always doesn't hurt to have it as a backup, in case I can't find anything.
Ow! Fuck.
You've been here 5 minutes and you're already injured.
He's already picked up his hammer and he was looking at Lorelei, brought it down in his hand.
I'm good. He just casually wraps his hand in like a little bit of cloth.
But yeah, what is he going to make over the course of this time?
The most mundane thing is probably making something, because he knows he has to go back out on his adventures again. So making something that can take a little fragment of the forge with it. He'll make a cart with a forge affixed to it and take one of the anvils with him. And then besides that, he will start, keyword start, working on a breastplate, which he will make by selling off his diamond without telling anybody.
So he's gonna just snatch that from Lorelei while she's asleep?
Yeah, yep. Yeah,
cool.
She's out, yeah. I'm
yeah. You know where she's put it.
I will roll the appraisal for that.
Between the lore accurate.
That's exactly where
Shut the fuck up, Stein.
Bruh.
Damn.
Now you take one of the smaller diamonds, the ones that seems a little bit less crystal clear, perhaps. Yeah, not wanting to take the best amongst them, but you're able to have it appraised in exchange for a hefty sack of coin.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that and I'll buy 4 donkeys, and then with the rest buy the rest of the weight in iron.
Mm-hmm. Donkeys are going to have a hard time hauling this, and you know they're not very quick. It's up to you if you want to do that, obviously, but
oh yeah, we
coin
should
you have, you could buy something.
Horses.
Yeah, you could go with a larger horse, something a little more sturdy.
Yeah, all right. All
Only
right,
we
let's.
had beep.
But we can get into that.
The details don't matter.
Out of character, what you buy and how much it costs and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So once the forge cart is made, he kind of all the stones being from the rubble of the forge. While everybody's away, like even Cithabella, if she happens to be away for a moment, he scoops up a chunk of the coals, throws it all into a bucket, and carries it out to the forge cart.
So the coals, when they are stoked to their proper heat, there's a shimmer of blue flame that courses over them periodically, as the forge itself is supplied primarily by blue mana.
Nice.
Yeah, interesting.
So you can stock your miniature forge on the backside of this cart with some of the coals, and then take one of the iron shovels once you've stoked them to proper heat and have this blue fire on them, taking in one scoop and delicately carrying it through the halls of the forge out to this cart waiting in the glade, and gently lay them atop the others and keep them stoked, knowing that you're going to have to continue to supply them with heat and not let them go out.
If I was Gideon Hawthorne, I'd just be like, ooh, auto feeder. Like feeding a fucking cat. Yeah, and once that's lit, like every day on time, adding coals to it. He like makes it big, keeps a hefty pile, but doesn't use the bellows so they don't burn more than necessary.
Keep them a low heat, but
yeah,
continually burning.
Yeah, just enough to keep them going.
During this time, what's Asuriel really doing?
Knitting, apparently.
Yeah.
Knitting with Cithabella, talking about their past adventures.
Yeah, she's gonna take a while to talk with Cithabella, but after she's got most of the answers she wanted, she'd probably head back to Breylet to help out with the fields there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'll say she remembered a spell, a very powerful spell, to make sure their fields are plentiful, plant growth. So she's gonna, I'd say she probably stays about a week at the forge, and then she spends just the rest of their stay casting plant growth on all the fields and helping to plow them.
Yeah, most of the inhabitants of Breylet think of you mostly as like a spring sage, one of the arcanists of the Flight of Herons. But yeah, you are able to channel this magic. You've been reintroduced by Cithabella. She's not intimately familiar with your past. She knows which flight you came from, but many of the specifics are not, she's not privy to exactly. And the way angels experience time is very different from the way you have remembered things as a human, so it's all kind of a jumble.
Does she know what previously happened to Asuriel before she disappeared?
I mean, like I said, she knows several things, a bit of reputation, the fact that you were one of the Flight of Herons, but because that is not her flight, she doesn't really know a lot of specifics, I would say.
She'll leave a little sad that she doesn't know all that much more, but also a sense of relief to know what she really is. Maybe we can meet up in Thraben again later. That's where I'm heading next. Needed to get this thing off me. Aurelis tried, but it hurt me, and she wasn't able to.
That should not be possible. That thing, that is Avacyn's power, but it is not. It's a perversion. I've never seen anything like it. If it was made by humans, I cannot fathom the depraved mind that would use it in such a way. If it was made by demons, we have a worse fight.
A lot of weird things happened since I can remember. Riverex's name, for some reason, it was on my arm before I don't know. It was on my arm, and I dreamt of a man with horns laughing. I think he might be the one who did this to me, because when we fought, I was suddenly somewhere else. Before this thing cracked, I was somewhere else. I heard a voice. It's as if they knew Riverax. They were mocking him. And then they were screaming that it was impossible before the color cracked.
She withdraws slightly. Are you being watched?
I think so. Those people who were with us. Well, not really with us. The one who disappeared, they knew things about the others. Very personal things. It might not just be them, though. It's a voice. It's possible they are watching, but I don't know. I only heard them that one time.
You should be very careful, Asuriel. And that's where we're going to have the curtain slowly drop on this session and arc of Innistrad.